Imagine a scenario where the internet, that invisible web connecting us all, faces a threat and could be wiped out completely. Is a solar storm lurking around the corner, and can it wipe out the internet completely? Being so accustomed to using the internet, can we imagine ourselves without it? Join us as we talk about the possibility of a solar storm, a force of nature capable of wreaking havoc on our digital landscape. Hello, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Before getting into the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Now let's get straight into it. What is a solar storm exactly? In simple words, a solar storm is like a big space weather event caused by activity on the sun. It's a bit like when a storm happens on Earth, but instead of rain and thunder, it's bursts of energy and particles from the sun. These storms can happen when the sun's magnetic field gets all tangled up and releases a lot of energy, sending out things like solar flares and coronal mass ejections, CMEs. When these reach Earth, they can cause beautiful auroras in the sky, but they can also mess with our technology, like satellites and power grids. So, a solar storm is basically a wild, energetic event happening way up in space. The Carrington event of 1859 stands as a pivotal moment in the history of solar storms. Named after Richard Carrington, the astronomer who first observed it, this event showcased the immense power of the sun and its potential impact on Earth. What began as an ordinary day of sunspot observation for Carrington quickly turned extraordinary when he witnessed a blinding flash of light on the sun's surface. Little did he know that this burst of energy, known as a coronal mass ejection, CME, would soon race towards Earth. The effects of the Carrington event were felt globally. Auroras, typically confined to polar regions, danced across the skies as far south as the Caribbean, mesmerizing onlookers with their vibrant hues. However, alongside this awe-inspiring display came widespread disruptions to electrical systems. Across Europe and North America, telegraph systems failed, with some operators reporting receiving shocks or even witnessing spontaneous fires caused by the surges of electricity induced by the solar storm. Solar activity, including sunspots, flares, and coronal mass ejections, follows a cyclical pattern linked to the sun's magnetic field. This cycle typically repeats approximately every 11 years, although the duration can vary. During periods of high solar activity, known as solar maximums, the sun's surface is teeming with sunspots, dark, cooler areas caused by intense magnetic activity. These sunspots are often accompanied by solar flares, sudden bursts of energy and radiation, and coronal mass ejections, CMEs, massive eruptions of solar material into space. Conversely, during solar minimums, solar activity decreases and sunspots become less frequent. This cyclic nature of solar activity is a result of the sun's complex magnetic dynamo process, where magnetic fields become twisted and rearranged over time, eventually reaching a point of maximum instability before resetting. Understanding these solar cycles is crucial for predicting and preparing for potential impacts on Earth. By monitoring the sun's activity and studying historical patterns, scientists can anticipate periods of heightened solar activity and the potential for solar storms. This knowledge allows us to better safeguard our technological infrastructure and prepare for the impacts of space weather phenomena on our planet. While modern electrical systems have undoubtedly improved in resilience compared to those of the past, they still face vulnerabilities when confronted with extreme solar events. A notable illustration of this vulnerability occurred during the blackout in Quebec in 1989. This event serves as a stark reminder of the potential impacts of space weather on our technological infrastructure. During the 1989 blackout, a powerful solar storm overwhelmed the electrical transmission system of Hydro-Quebec, causing a widespread 9-hour power outage across the province. The storm-induced geomagnetic disturbances overloaded the power grid, leading to cascading failures and the loss of electricity to millions of people. This incident highlights the susceptibility of electrical grids to the effects of space weather events, such as geomagnetically induced currents, GICs. When a solar storm strikes Earth, it can induce fluctuations in Earth's magnetic field, which in turn generate GICs and power transmission lines. These GICs can disrupt the normal operation of electrical systems, leading to equipment failures, voltage instability, and even widespread blackouts. While the 1989 blackout was a significant event, It also served as a catalyst for improvements in space weather forecasting and mitigation strategies. Today, utilities and grid operators employ advanced monitoring systems to track solar activity and assess the potential impacts on electrical infrastructure. Additionally, measures such as GIC mitigation devices and operational protocols are implemented to minimize the risks posed by solar storms. However, despite these advancements, challenges remain in protecting electrical systems from the full impact of extreme space weather events. Undersea cables play a vital role in our modern world, serving as the backbone of global communication networks. These cables, which lie on the ocean floor and stretch for thousands of miles, carry vast amounts of internet traffic, enabling instant communication and data exchange across continents. However, despite their importance, undersea cables are vulnerable to disruption from solar storms. Solar storms, such as coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and solar flares, can generate powerful electromagnetic disturbances that propagate through space and interact with Earth's magnetic field. When these disturbances reach Earth, they induce fluctuations in the planet's magnetic field, creating geomagnetically induced currents, GICs. These GICs can then flow through undersea cables, affecting the electronic components embedded within them. One of the main vulnerabilities of undersea cables to solar storms lies in the presence of repeaters, electronic devices placed at intervals along the cable to boost the signal and maintain data integrity over long distances. These repeaters are powered by electrical currents transmitted through the cable itself, which makes them susceptible to damage or malfunction caused by GICs induced during solar storms. The induced voltage fluctuations can exceed the tolerances of the electronic components within the repeaters, leading to equipment failure or degradation of performance. In severe cases, widespread damage to repeaters along the cable route can disrupt communication links and cause service outages for internet users relying on these connections. To mitigate the risks posed by solar storms to undersea cables, telecommunications companies and cable operators implement various measures. These may include the use of robust shielding and surge protection mechanisms for repeaters, as well as enhanced monitoring and early warning systems to detect geomagnetic disturbances and preemptively mitigate their impacts on cable infrastructure. Despite these efforts, the threat of disruption from solar storms remains a persistent concern for undersea cable networks. Continued investment in research, technology development, and infrastructure resilience is essential to ensure the reliability and stability of global communication networks in the face of space weather hazards. The Carrington event of 1859, the major solar storm, caused widespread disruptions, leading to speculation about the potential impact of a similar event on the internet today. While solar storms can induce voltage surges that affect electrical systems, including undersea cables that carry internet traffic, the likelihood of a catastrophic event depends on various factors. Solar activity follows cycles, and although we're entering a peak period in 2025, the severity of the storms is unpredictable. While it's prudent to be aware of the risks, it's not necessarily something to lose sleep over, especially considering recent solar cycles have been relatively tame. But you never know. The world has seen events that were never meant to happen, so let's see what this solar cycle brings to the table. Let us know your thoughts on the whole scenario. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos.